Good morning, good morning. It's Friday, um, September 10th. It's about 9 a.m. It's a beautiful morning out here. Beautiful morning. I got some business to tend to, but I, in the midst of getting ready for my business that I have to tend to today, I was doing some thinking, heavy thinking, per usual. And, the Lord just reveals things um, all the time. I'm sure, as you're well aware. You revealed a few things to me this morning. Um, my Somebody had said something to me earlier this week that really checked me. It said, when you're critical in the spirit of things and of people, more importantly, when you're critical of people in the spirit, in your faith, in your walk, it basically means that you don't have a good worship life for God. And so I'm type critical. I'm type critical. I'm type analytical. Um, I try to follow things to the T because that's the type of discipline that I have to have, or I'll fall off. I have one of those types of personalities that I have to. It has to be. It has to be adhered to. As far as rules and things like that. Otherwise, I'll fall by the wayside quick. And so, it made me think this morning because I have a very, very, and this is my flesh. My flesh has a very low tolerance for like drama, dumbness, weirdness with people. I come to tend to find that it's just too prevalent these days. The Lord put something in my spirit this morning. He said, "Do you know why that is?" He gets me down to the nitty gritty of a few things, and he said, I always find myself asking myself this question. Like, you ask yourself this question a lot, Daniel. Like, something pops off, somebody does something, somebody violates according to you, and you have a tendency to be like, yo, who raised you? Where did you, what part of your upbringing justifies you doing that, or makes you think that what you did is okay? And I said, wow, when he revealed that, when he revealed that, I love waiting for somebody to pass you. So when he revealed that, you know why that is, right? It's like you're you're literally raised by an older generation, and with generations, with essence and value depreciates over time. Depreciates, um, depreciates and degrades rather over time. So you figure people being raised, morals, principles, order, things like that. Um, it degrades over time with generations. It gets lost in translation. And I was blessed. I was about to say fortunate, but no, I was severely blessed to have two great men in my life who were my grandfather and my father, and they were the same age, and they were born 4 days apart, June 2nd and June 6th. Grandfather passed away October of 2018. Oh, excuse me, October of 2017. It's coming up on 4 years now. And I used to sit with him later on in our relationship, in our days that we had, the time that we had before he passed, and just soak up so much from him. And the Lord revealed that to me too. Like, hey, when you used to ride around with your pops all the time and spend time with your pops, yeah, you were hard headed, but you retained a lot of that information. You retained a lot of that rearing that old, they people of that generation. I'm talking 80 something, 90 something years old these days. That's how old my father would have been. That's how old my grandfather would have been. I believe 89. And they have they were they lived by an older code and older principles, older morals. And I was raised off those. Yeah, I bucked them. I rejected and rebelled like any teenager did. But you know, the Lord had me retain a lot of that information, a lot of that. That I find myself giving to my kids. And it was like you, you feel out of sync because you kind of are in a sense. You know, you're dealing with people that have been violating you, people that you've taken umbrage with. They weren't. They come from a different generation than you were raised. They came from a generation that you know, the values and morals and principles that you were, built on. Their generation was below that, as far as how they were raised. And so, morals, principles, and all that depreciates and degrades over time. You kind of just lose bits and pieces. You know, I find myself like a 28-year-old, 30-year-old, or whatever. They'll do some dumbness, and I'm like, what the heck is wrong with you? Grown men. I'm talking grown men. One of the first things my pops used to tell me, I remember him telling me was, your word is your word, and your name will ring out based off of the words you speak and the promises that you keep or you don't keep. So basically, and one of the second things that I remember him telling me is like, don't ever find yourself having another man's name in your mouth unless you're prepared to see that man and have the same things to say in his presence. Whether it's beef or not. I mean, and so a lot of people don't live by that code anymore. That code has been degraded. You don't even get that type of old sensual, those nuggets, those gems, those jewels. You don't get a lot of that anymore. It's a shame. And I've had to address people from the standpoint of, hey, you violated. Like it's no type of it's no issue for me to like try to talk to somebody about, hey, I felt the type of way about what you did with this or whatever. But these days, that's looked upon or looked at as confrontational, as opposed to the way I was raised. If there was an issue, you try to talk it out. People are already predisposed and have that preconceived notion that when somebody sees you, and when you see somebody that you've done wrong or whatever, you about ready to fight. You know what it is. You think you do. With me, I have to remember that the generation that I'm in really ain't a lot of talking. Like if there's an issue, if you walk up to somebody and you're prepared to like try to talk, conflict resolution and all that, you stand the chance of getting punched in your face before anything comes out of your mouth. You stand a chance of being chastised. You stand a chance of more times than none. They don't want anything. They'll front. Excuse me, but that's just the way that it is. And it's crazy. I've people don't live by that. They think you got a problem with them. Like, no, I'm actually trying to solve the problem before it becomes a problem. Because These, I mean, don't get me wrong. Of course, hands were thrown. Back in the day, everything wasn't talk it out, become friends, kumbaya, whatever. It only came to the fisticuffs when negotiations failed, whenever talks failed, whenever people couldn't come to that common ground, whatever. And then it was like, all right, well, we gotta handle that. And so, these days, people would have a lot of conflict resolution issues with trying to save face. Also, another thing that I found, people would rather live in their truth rather than the truth. I'll say it again. People would rather live in their truth rather than the truth. That's another shame. Because people are more comfortable in living a lie than dealing in the truth. And that is just, I believe that's another prerequisite of falsehood, fakeness, which leads to drama, which leads to gossip, which leads to a whole bunch of other stuff that I don't deal in. But the Lord is having me learn to deal, because everything that I said just up until this point is how my flesh usually would handle things. And without praise and worship life, my heart won't be tender-hearted and caring and understanding of people who don't, who weren't raised the way I was, But that's just a little nugget for Friday. Needed to get that off. Peace and love to you all. God bless you. Have a good rest of the weekend. Enjoy your life and grow in the Lord.